In this video, we'll talk about small business lending trends and why Amazon sellers have cash flow problems and how does it affect their businesses. And our guest, Nathan from Payoneer, will be sharing with us what are other options to lend money and get extra cash for your business. One of them is actually Payoneer's Cash Advance program, which you will hear about in this video. This session is hosted by LISETT LEES. She works with different Amazon brands. And I also wanted to remind you that you will find the links below in the description if you want to sign up for Payoneer's service. And also make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel of Orange Klik, because here we talk with different Amazon industry experts.
Hello, Nathan. It's great to have you here today to talk about very important topic, which is cash flow and funding Amazon business. But before you share your insights with us, would you please introduce yourself and tell us what you do in Payoneer and in Amazon space?
Hi there. Thanks for having me, Lisette. So my name is Nathan Fox. I'm part of the senior sales team over at Payoneer. And what Payoneer do, we're a market-leading payment solution for e-commerce and B2B businesses in the making and receiving of international payments, as well as now providing working capital.
Okay, so you cover a really important topic for not only Amazon sellers, but e-commerce sellers overall, right?
Yes, exactly. So not only Amazon sellers can utilize Payoneer, as I said, we have a range of functions that e-commerce businesses can use for their operations in terms of making and receiving international payments. And working capital is just one of those things that we've recently got into.
Okay, and you will introduce that opportunity to us today as well. So I know you have a presentation. So let's see what you have and let's go into the details.
Excellent. So just to give you a brief background introduction to Payoneer, as you can see, it's a truly global company operating in over 200 countries and 150 currencies, spanning over 21 offices. Currently, we have over 4 million international users with 24/7 support, and we're integrated with thousands of platforms and brands. Some of our financial partners that you can see here include the likes of Deutsche Bank, Bank of America, Barclaycard, and MasterCard, as well as our business partners. We're also integrated and partnered with Amazon, Google, the likes of Fiverr, Wish, and Airbnb. So some really, really strong brands there that you can see that Payoneer does business with. So what we've done at Payoneer as we've entered this working capital space is that we decided to analyze some of the small business lending trends that we've seen. And what we've seen is that cash flow is such a global challenge for all entrepreneurs worldwide. So you can see here that 61% of businesses have struggled with cash flow or really struggled with cash flow. In the last 12 months, we've seen 42% of businesses globally struggle with financial challenges, and that's probably been made higher by the recent pandemic. And more strikingly, 1 out of 3 newly established businesses fail in the first 12 months because they run out of cash flow. So those are some real key challenges that business have today. But despite these hardships, we've seen e-commerce continue to thrive with a potential over 5.5 trillion in global spending in platforms by 2023. And that's probably been accelerated by the recent pandemic, as most people have switched their kind of spending habits from the retail shops to more online spending. And as you can see here, we've seen that fintechs and new payment providers are becoming and emerging and filling the gap from where the banks have kind of left a hole. And you can see here that alternative providers have now only accounted for 12.75 billion of UK lending in 2018. And their projected share is to go up to almost 10%, so to 9.1%, which will equate to 58 1.8 billion. So you can see there's huge potential here for, alternative lending and payment providers to plug the gaps that the banks have left and really help e-commerce businesses with their cash flow when they really need it. And now for post-pandemic lending. So as a result of the pandemic, many SMBs are forced to kind of alter their business models. And therefore, this again, creates opportunities for payment providers and alternative lenders to come up with smart and innovative ways for businesses to underwrite businesses. And this is where the likes of Payoneer have come into the fold, as we've been able to provide a unique solution that only e-commerce sellers at the moment can access, and it gives them a clear route to getting the additional cash flow that they need. So with Payoneer, our Capital Advance, we see it as the ideal solution for cash flow management for e-commerce businesses. And you can start by receiving, express advances, which just takes a portion of your Amazon earnings that you could access as additional cash flow. But as you continue to use us and as you continue to grow, we can then move on to giving much larger amounts, closer to a full month's worth of an e-commerce seller's monthly turnover. Which in times of growth, which in times of expansion, can really help out e-commerce sellers getting that injection of cash into their business. So here we have some of the financial challenges that online sellers face in today's climate. So the first challenge we have is the long wait for cash. Now, for sellers, especially on marketplaces like Amazon, from the time that they place their order to the time that they receive their stock, their money from the product sold, can be quite a long time. In some cases, it's 3 to 6 months. So you're seeing, increasing growth, you're seeing sales on Amazon, but by the time that cash, that money actually reaches your bank account, it can be a matter of months before you actually see the benefit and see that cash in your account. So challenges 1 and 2 kind of play into each other, because on one hand, you're having a long wait to receive your cash from the marketplace or payment provider, payment processor, should I say. And on the other hand, you've then got to purchase inventory again to grow. And if you don't have the cash flow for that, then, you see businesses in cash flow crises where they have enough sales, they're profitable, but their cash flow is low, which means they're unable to reinvest quickly in the products that they know will get a good return of investment. And we've identified a number of ways that customers can get around some of these challenges. So step 1 would be to potentially analyze your sales channel. So by doing this, you analyze, which products have the best return of investment and the quickest return of investment. So by optimizing the amount of inventory you buy and sell at any given time, it allows you to pay up front for some products that have a quick return of investment, or that and have the shorter sales cycles. Or sometimes it may require speaking to your suppliers and asking for longer payment terms, because if the money that you're going to receive from the products is going to be 2, 3, sometimes 4, 5 months, it's handy to have good relations with your suppliers so that you can negotiate on those payment terms. A second option is to just budget properly. So being on top of your finances, being on top of your budget is crucial and key, especially during these times. So if you're able to budget properly, you're able to know what's coming in and what's coming out at the precise time, and it will allow you to make purchases when you need to, so you don't end up overspending or underspending. You want to have that, that streamline of cash flowing in and out of the business like clockwork. And the third option is to, look for some additional working capital. Now, this may come in handy if you need to make increase in stock purchases. So, in preparation for peak seasons. It may be relevant if you're moving to different regions. So again, you need to either up your inventory or you need to up your marketing costs. And as well with just general PPC, for those selling on platforms like Amazon, you will know how important PPC is. So having the additional cash to, compete with those companies that may have more cash flow than you is going to be quite essential and quite vital to get your product in the face of the customers that you'd like to buy those products. And these are some of the kind of financing products that are out there at the moment for businesses. So of course you have your typical invoice financing, your typical and traditional term or bank loan. You have revolving credit facilities. You have a merchant cash advance. And then we come on to our Payoneer Capital Advance, which I'll explain in a bit more detail. So this is how the Payoneer Capital Advance looks. This is our express offering, which will be the first offer that you get when you enter the Payoneer ecosystem. And we've introduced this as a result of the pandemic, and it helps businesses to increase their credit worthiness with Payoneer. Because we don't ask for any credit checks or personal guarantees, the first offer is always a bit lower, just so that you can build up a credit history with Payoneer and get the ball rolling before we can offer you more higher amounts. But saying that, we can still offer up to $200,000 as a first offer per connected store. So this is Amazon specific. There's a one-time flat and fixed fee of 1.5%. And this is relevant for Amazon.com, Amazon.uk, Walmart, and we've now introduced Amazon Europe as well. So France, Germany, Italy, and Spain, which is great news. The offer that you'll receive from us is typically around 50% of your average monthly store volume. So if you typically receive, $50,000 from Amazon in terms of disbursements per month, the first offer will usually be around $20,000 to $25,000. You receive an offer from us every three working days. Because we constantly review your sales data. So if your sales actually go up, then the offer will do the same. If the sales slow down, then the offer will again reduce slightly. And we aim to collect the amount that you take within a 1 month period. As I said, it's an express offer. It's not meant to last a long time. It's only there to kind of prove the credit worthiness of the business, help out with some cash flow. Once it's repaid, we would then be able to offer much larger amounts. And because of this, how this works is we'll then collect 50% of each disbursement you receive from Amazon until that amount was paid off, plus the fee. And here is just an example of how our capital advance works with an infographic. So this customer here, they took £100,000. Every time they got paid from Amazon, we took a strict percentage of those disbursements until the amount was paid off in full. And as you can see, here are some key points we feel e-commerce businesses have used our product for. So either launching new products, launching in new markets, invested in marketing, or trying to maximize during those key peak periods. So we're talking about Prime Day, Halloween, just Q4, Christmas. So cash flow is important to make sure you have enough stock, because it's vital to have enough stock during these key periods. And this is just again a description of how it would work once receiving an express offer. So this person took $20,000. Once they next got paid, we collected 50%. Once they next got paid, we collected 50. And by that time, the advance was paid off. Now, this store roughly does around $45,000 per month. We were able to offer it 20 in the first instance, and the next time round would probably be closer to that $45,000 mark. And here's just a brief kind of overview of what Payoneer can actually offer a business outside of working capital. So for e-commerce sellers or B2B sellers selling, in multi-region, you can have a bank account in these 8-9 major currencies. So in the UK, in Europe, in America, Canada, Australia, Japan, Mexico, Hong Kong, and China. You can have a unique individual receiving account for your company. And this can be used for receiving payments from marketplaces, payment gateways, as well as your business clients. Completely free to receive your funds in those accounts, and the lowest FX fees to convert your currency back to your home currency. You can also use the funds in your account to pay, your supplier network worldwide as well. Here's just again a display of how using the Payoneer account will benefit you instead of sticking with the likes of Amazon or Stripe and their associated currency conversion services. So for instance, if you were a European or a UK customer selling on Amazon.com, when Amazon convert those dollars back to your home currency, they do their own currency conversion and implement quite high fees. And then if you were to use those same funds to pay a supplier or pay some VAT or pay some tax, your bank or FX broker would again charge quite large fees on the outgoing payment. So typically you could be paying between 7 to 10%. You could be losing that in fees. Whereas with Payoneer, it would be just one low cost fee as low. It starts at 2%. So 2% is the highest that you would pay. Whereas using Amazon and then your bank subsequently, you could be paying up to 10%. So, a maximum of an 8% saving, which is, quite drastic, especially if you're doing quite large volumes. And, it's a free service to sign up to. So you're not spending any money, you're actually just saving money. And here is another infographic of the end-to-end service that Payoneer provides. As previously mentioned, it's not just about working capital. It's not just about, your international receivables. It's a whole network. It's a whole, payment platform that can help you, optimize your business transactions, trying to provide the complete end-to-end service for any e-commerce or B2B business. So there's multiple ways that you can get funds into your Payoneer account, either through, a capital advance, through your marketplace sales, your payment gateway sales, or from your B2B activity, or you can actually self-load funds from your own company bank account into your Payoneer account. Once the funds are there, you have a multitude of ways that you can spend them, either on your, tax obligations. You also get a MasterCard with the account, which allows you to spend either, physically in store or virtually online. You can withdraw those funds to your bank account or another one of your bank accounts worldwide for reduced cost. You can pay your suppliers in multi-currencies worldwide. So you can pay out to over, as I said, 200 countries and 150 currencies directly into your supplier bank accounts. Or you could pay anyone with a Payoneer account worldwide. And that option is actually instant and free. So as you can see here, a multitude of ways that you can receive your money. You can hold your money in your Payoneer account, and you can also spend it in numerous ways, all while saving money on those international currency conversion fees.
So it's time to take over from my side, I guess. Thank you so much, Nathan. It was a really good presentation. So I think my first question for you is, like, overall, how do you think how well Amazon sellers usually manage their cash flow and also solve problems that they have to cash flow problems?
So Amazon sellers typically have found it quite difficult to manage cash flow problems, mainly because the traditional banking system, they find it very hard to underwrite e-commerce businesses specifically, because the money is coming in from, routes that they're not too familiar with. So, they don't have the best mechanisms to underwrite cash flow problems from Amazon sellers, which is why we've launched the Capital Advance product, because we know the ecosystem. We know e-commerce sellers very, very well. And we're also plugged into Amazon. So that way we have a strong way of, assessing a business truly, what they do, how long they've been doing it for, and give them some working capital that can truly kind of assist their cash flow needs.
Okay, so that means that lending as e-commerce seller from the traditional sources such as banks is rather difficult right now, right?
Yeah, it's a difficult process. Once you do get to a bank, it's also a lengthy process, lots of applications, lots of waiting around, which is why, again, we've tried to make this as simple and as streamlined as possible. Once you have a Payoneer account and you receive your first Amazon payment, we can analyze the business within one working day and provide a working capital offer the very next day. So we try to make it as quick and as simple as possible for, Amazon sellers as well.
Okay, so how can sellers get accepted? Are there any requirements? I don't know, perhaps you have to be a seller for a certain amount of years or months, or what are the requirements?
Yeah, great question. So with us, as I said, we try to make it as simple as possible. So as long as your Amazon metrics are in order, so typically your order defect rate and your late shipment rate aren't above the thresholds that Amazon provide, and you've been selling on Amazon for at least 6 months, we can review your business. We prefer if the business has received at least 2,000, pounds, euros, or dollars for the last 6 months consecutively, because that shows that they have a steady amount of cash flow into the business. But those are really the only metrics that we look at to kind of approve a business for some working capital.
And can you give an overview? How does the process look like to get accepted? What sellers have to do, and what do you do from your side?
So from our side, all we require is that the business registers for a Payoneer multi-currency account, and that they use this account to receive their payments from Amazon. Now, we've already identified the benefits of doing so, because they don't have any Amazon conversion fees and they receive the funds from Amazon for free. And when they withdraw those funds back to their bank account, again, it's done at a much lower FX rate. So that's the only thing that we ask of them, that they use a Payoneer account to receive their Amazon earnings. We have an API that plugs into their Amazon MWS token, and that is what reads their Amazon data so that we can provide the offer for them.
Basically, you are connected like any other software Amazon sellers usually use. So you have straight connection with the Seller Central.
Yes, directly. So we have a direct connection with Seller Central. We can plug in directly once the seller connects their MWS token, and that's only used to read their sales data so that we can provide an accurate offer.
Okay, so everything is smooth and fast regarding exchanging information of the sales and etc.
Yes, exactly. And we also have the likes of myself and the rest of the team that can also help any seller that is interested in getting the working capital, and if they have any problems along the way.
Okay, so as a last question, I wanted to know, do you have like any information? What are usually the main reasons why Amazon sellers choose to use Capital Advance? Perhaps you collect any kind of data. Is it usually for new product launches? Is it more for marketing? Do you have any information regarding to that?
Yeah, so the two main reasons are for new product launches, as well as preparing for the peak season. So, mainly, towards the back end of Q3, sellers anticipate that they'll get large sales during Q4. So they really want to make sure that their inventory is at its best before they go into Q4, because, running out of stock during those peak periods can be quite costly, especially because most sellers receive the bulk of their sales during this time.
Yeah, everybody wants to avoid that. Okay, yeah. So if anybody has questions regarding to the program or would like to get in touch with you or Payoneer overall, then what's the best way to reach out to you?
Yeah, so the best email to reach myself or anyone from the EU team is to email eusalesteam@payoneer.com.
Okay, and then they can ask all the questions they have and get well replies.
Yeah, they'll get straight through to one of us. We'll be able to either correspond via email or phone call and help out as many people as we can.
Okay, cool. So thanks a lot for coming here tonight, and we wish all the best in your business.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I do hope you got some useful information from this video, and if you want to check what Payoneer does, you will find the links below. And now I would like to invite you to watch other video with the Payoneer's representative, where we will be talking about you will hear some tips how European Amazon sellers could expand to US marketplace.